Hey everybody, Marcus C. Williams here, and welcome to Divide with Marcus C. Williams. So we're out in the world right now. It is very loud in the background, so y'all got to forgive me for all the sound and the noise. But do hit the click with the heart button and the share and get this message out there. Drop a little American flag in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. We'll keep this a little short today because of the location we're in, but let's jump right into it. So, since the last time we talked, we have had a very interesting result of elections in New York State. We've seen Zoran Mandani win in New York City, and we've seen my home county of Monroe County get viciously blue all across the county. It's very disappointing what we're seeing go on across the country. Now, let me key you in on why this type of stuff is happening. And the Democrats are celebrating wholeheartedly. And Ken Martin, the head of the Democrats right now, can't stand him. Not a very good dude. He's kind of trash, to be honest. Only second to David Hogg. Okay. Now, he's out here celebrating. Say it shows that Democrats are so awesome and that they're all united on kitchen table items. And he's absolutely right. All the Democrats are together on kitchen table items. Yeah, they completely ignore them. They don't care about the food supply chain or the costs in relation to that. They've got no plan or no concern to do anything about that. They don't care about the crime and public safety. Don't care. They don't care about the issues with taxes. Don't care. So there are all of these things that are kitchen table items that they should care about that they don't care about. So when he goes off and says Democrats are all aligned on the same page on kitchen table items, I'm 100% with him. He's 100% right. They don't care about any kitchen table items, not even the continued rising cost of housing or the rising cost of electric. And let's be honest, housing and electric are two really big issues. What even do the Democrats have as solutions? Oh, let's give free housing to everyone. Let's freeze rent. Let's do that. What is their solution for energy? Oh, let's shut down nuclear power plants and shut down natural gas plants. Really? Like, those things are only going to hurt the exact people that you say that you are supposed to be addressing issues for. We already know that rent control doesn't work. That's why there are so many whole buildings in New York City that are completely empty because they're rent-controlled apartments. So when somebody moves out or somebody dies, the landlord, the owner of the property, just won't rent the property anymore. Like, this is a fact. Like, this is a known fact. This is something that's easily researchable. Don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you, go look it up. Like, this is known things, What did Ronald Reagan say, socialism only works in two places, heaven where they don't need it and hell where they already got it. And now we're going to see it play out right in New York City. And it's tragic, really, because even Governor Kathy, who y'all know I'm not too fond of Governor Kathy at all, okay? I don't like the high priestess, okay? She's already said that, no, she's not going to do anything to allow Zoran to do free buses for everything. Everything that he promised is completely empty on its face. And what was his solution to all of these things? His solution was, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to talk to the state assembly because I was in the state assembly, which he didn't pass any bills while he was in the state assembly. Let's talk about that. He didn't put out any bills during his time in the state assembly. He did absolutely nothing. Zoran did nothing in the state assembly. But now he's saying that he's going to make it so that the state assembly taxes the rest of all of New Yorkers for his nonsense. Well, frankly, as a New Yorker, I don't want to pay not a dollar, not a dime, not a penny to Zoran and his nonsense in New York City. Because what about my city? What about Rochester? What about my county? What about Monroe County? Why do I even care about New York City? Now, a lot of you guys that follow me are good and well versed in the whole concept of dividing New York. New York City is nothing but a drain leech on the rest of the state. They force their nonsense on the rest of us as a state, and that's why we should break up New York State. Let New York City do their own thing. They've got enough people. They've got enough seats in the Senate and the House and the Assembly already. Let them be separate. We don't need them. All they do is push their nonsense through the state assembly, through the state Senate, and we all have to pay for their shenanigans. And this is a problem. And just like Zoran said, he's going to push more taxes on the rest of New Yorkers. Dude, you're not my mayor. And I'd throw a whole fit if my mayor said that, which he's trying to raise taxes, but that's a whole nother conversation. Through the assessments, which they say they're not raising taxes, but they are technically raising taxes because they're raising the assessment. So if your taxes are more, your tax bill is more now than it was before, hello, that's raising taxes. I don't care if you're telling me that you didn't raise taxes. If my bill goes up, you raise taxes. Who's a fool? You know? But Mondani's like, oh, yeah, well, the state assembly can raise taxes on everybody else across the state so that we can pay for our frivolous nonsense. I don't live in New York City. I have some family in New York City, but I don't care about New York City. I do care about New York City because I'm a New Yorker, but I don't care about New York City to pay for their nonsense. Our own county, our own city, our own places have their own issues that we need to be paying for our stuff to fix our stuff. And then when they get money, what do they do with it? Look at the MTA. Trash, super trash, bro. They put all of these billions of dollars into fixing the MTA, and it's all trash. The whole thing is trash, the whole system. Subways, trash. Buses, trash. You understand what I'm saying? Like, are we being real honest here? I don't think that we are. And we need to have a serious conversation about this. Drop a comment, hit the heart button, hit the like, share this out. It don't cost you nothing. So as we have these important types of conversations, you know, we really have to look at why these Democrats are winning these seats. And it's largely because nobody is coming out to vote. They're winning by margins that are infinitesimally small, like tragically small, like impossibly small. In my city, in Rochester, the Democrats won all of their seats with about 15,000 votes. We've got almost, 150,000 people registered to vote? I don't know anymore because we keep having shifts in people moving out and all types of stuff. But, you know, they kill more babies than we've had born in Monroe County. So it's definitely not from people growing into full-grown adults. So when we have these serious conversations, even if we were to say it's 100,000 registered voters, even if we were to say it's 75,000 registered voters, let's just say it's 75,000 registered voters. You're going to tell me 15,000 people decided for everybody else? Now, there's a very serious problem there. It's something that needs to be addressed. People need to get out and vote, right? And that's not even talking about the New York City elections and their voter registration and how that stuff is going, okay? Like, this is all nonsense. It's all nonsense. A small amount of people are winning because they are getting what they want. And they get what they want when you don't vote. When you don't vote, when you say, oh, my vote doesn't count, it doesn't mean anything, don't be a fool. Don't be a tool. Go vote. You understand? Because this stuff is real, what's going on. Votes and voting, and what do they say? Oh, well, elections have consequences, right? They really do. And when you don't go out and vote, elections have consequences. And I wager to bet, you know, most of the people in New York City that voted for him, largely affluent, largely don't have the same issues as everyday common people. And the rest that did vote for him, that were of lower net worth, just hung on his empty promises and his youthful vigor. I'm using air quotes if you're listening to this on audio. Like, this is a real problem because this concept of socialism that's being pushed throughout our nation right now, and the acclamation of Americans to communism, is ridiculous. The whole point of socialism is to turn to communism. Socialism is the philosophy. Communism is a form of government. And if anybody that tells you different, they're an idiot and they don't read Marx, Lenin, Trotsky, or any of the founders of communism, socialism, or the like. And it's ridiculous because you hear these people talk and spout all this nonsense. Oh, we want to give free stuff to everybody. Where's it going to come from? you also want to push the means of production into the hands of the government. But you're also the same people that tell me that you care about unions. If the government is in control of everything, there won't be any unions. Are you dumb? Like, who's stupid? Like, don't follow these people blindly. They're clearly lying to you. Like, and you don't have to be like the most critically thinking individual to understand that these people are clearly lying to you. And it's intentionally so, because they want to be able to stay in power forever and limit your ability to have self-governance over yourself. They want to take as much money out of your pocket as possible, and they don't want you to be able to spend your money, because you can spend your money better than the government. Why does the government need your money? You understand what I'm saying? And if it's the federal government, I don't care about the federal government very much at all. People will say, oh, well, what about all of the people that work in the federal government? The bureaucracy does less than nothing. And then in New York State, our bureaucracy does way less than nothing. And they'll say, oh, well, all of those people will be out of jobs if they get trimmed. Well, wait a second. Why are all of these people working for the government if the government doesn't produce anything? And where are they getting the money to pay these people if the government doesn't produce anything? Your tax money. Mostly, largely bureaucratic jobs are social welfare programs for government employees. Full stop. Full stop. Like, unless you're in like intelligence or the military or something like that, you know, maybe law enforcement or public works, like most of them are useless. They're not doing anything but siphoning off your money little by little by little by little. The DMV, trash. You understand what I'm saying? Hunting and wildlife registration, trash. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, right? And you'll say, well, hunting and wildlife is very important. Don't we have the DEC? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? If you want to say that hunting and wildlife is something that's important, but we got the DEC, maybe one or two or both or need to go, or maybe there should be some sort of a combination between the two, and we need to cut the staff there. See, these are the conversations that we don't actually have, where there are so many things that are overlapping that never get addressed because people are like, oh, well, it's good for jobs. The government should not be creating jobs because the government doesn't build anything. They don't make anything. That is the power of the people. That is what the people do. And the government only siphons stuff away from you. You can spend your money better than the government. I'm not for property taxes. I'm not for income taxes. You bought it, you own it. You shouldn't be being charged property taxes and paying eternal rent to the government for what you already paid. You shouldn't be paying taxes on your labor, which you already labored for the money. Why are we doing that? And these crazy people calling themselves socialists and communists want to push for even more than that. And I've been following the American communist people. These people more crazy than these so-called socialist people. But you can see how the socialist people push and lean right into the communist people. And this is the type of stuff in the conversations that we need to have that's real. Robert, I see you out there 100%. Absolutely right, Robert. This stuff is real and it has real implications. Elections do have complications afterward once these people start to get in office and try to push their nonsense. Thankfully, really, they're all liars and shady double dealers who aren't even going to try to do half of what they say. But for the other things that they do say that they are going to try to push, it's detrimental to society. These are the same people that push stuff and say, oh, well, we don't need any police. The police are bad, and let all the criminals out of jail and let them run around and run wild. Why are we doing that? Like, whose safety is that for? Like, it's not for general public safety. It's not for the safety of businesses, but they just let the criminals run wild like they do in all of New York State. Like, this is crazy. It's insane. And they got all these hug a thug programs. No, put criminals in jail. Like, are you dumb? Like, nobody should be arrested 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 times for assault, battery, multiple gun charges, like our illegal firearms charges. Like, are we even being serious here? And you guys know me, I'm very stern on the Second Amendment. I believe that everybody should own a firearm. I believe that there should be free and open carry and that there should be constitutional carry. But if people are using firearms in an illegal manner, and there's a law against that, and you're trying to tell me that all of the crime is because of guns, which y'all know I don't believe, but they're trying to tell us that all of the crime is because of guns, and you're not putting them in jail? Somebody got to make it make sense to me. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Come on, y'all. It's nonsense. It's absolute subterfuge. And they keep pushing this stuff, pushing it on us over and over and over again, trying to beat it into our heads because it's a lie. My mayor is out there talking about, oh, the gun violence is down, bro. Gun violence is not down. Gun deaths are down because they don't calculate the people that go to the hospital and die in the hospital as murders. Facts. Full stop. Okay, but can we have that conversation? No, because we can't talk about them continuing to skew the facts of what's going on in our city, in Rochester. You can't talk about how city council doesn't even say anything about the crime or do anything about the crime, and none of the new electeds want to do anything about it either. But that's a smaller part of a much larger thing. You understand? Because this is the same concepts and the same initiatives that are being pushed all across our state. All across our state. Hit the like button, hit the share button. It don't cost you nothing. And drop a comment, even if it's just a thumbs up or an American flag. This is a serious problem, what we're facing as a nation. Because when these people get in power, they don't want to leave power. Because all they want is more power for the government. Socialism, communism, all of that nonsense is about expanding the government. You can even love communism and love socialism, but you still know that it's all about expanding the government. They say that it's about empowering the people, but you need to expand the bureaucracy to empower the people with the stuff that they already have. So can we have that conversation? People escape communist and socialist nations to come to America. And now y'all want to put them in power? Are we being real? Are we being serious? Like, I don't think that we're being serious at all here. And we need to have these real serious conversations because nobody else is really having them. These are important conversations. And people might say, oh, well, you shouldn't talk about those things. Who are you to tell me what I shouldn't talk about? I care about my nation and I want to stop the decline of my nation. You know, don't tell me what to say. Don't tell me what to do. You know, I don't want the government to tell me what to say and tell me what to do. I definitely don't want you to tell me what to say and tell me what to do. Don't play in my face. And this is something that continually is an issue. People try to silence you when you start having conversations about important things. And that's very, very problematic. Because if we don't have important conversations, like for instance, I'll give you during COVID, what did they do? They closed down bars, they closed down churches because they didn't want you to have conversations about what was actually going on, because they knew that if you had conversations about what was going on, that you'd be like, oh, this is some shenanigans here that they got going on. And you'd be like, we shouldn't be participating in it. Because they know that the Revolutionary War was started in churches and in bars because people would gather and they'd have community there and they'd talk to each other about what's going on and how the government is jacking them up. But if the government shuts down those things, if they shut down the internet, if they limit your ability to speak on the internet, if they continue to censor people, then you can't actually have any way to unite together and stand up against the nonsense that's going on. And these are the continued issues that we have over and over and over again. The silencing of voices that are trying to express stuff that's reasonable, that are trying to point out things that really we all can see, but if they don't get talked about, it doesn't call any attention to it. Like, I don't need to tell you that government-run grocery stores are bad. I'm sure that you know that because the government can't even govern right. How are they going to run a grocery store? Look, they can't even be open right. We haven't had I don't know, what is it, 2012, I think is the last time the United States of America, the most powerful nation in the world, had an actual budget. It's been years since we've had an actual budget. Congress got one job. That's make the budget. You understand what I'm saying? Make America go. And they can't even do that right. Continuing resolution after continuing resolution after continuing resolution. And people wonder why everything's jacked up. And you want these clowns to run a grocery store? I wouldn't want them to run a lemonade stand. You know, like, this is real. So now in one of the biggest cities in the world, New York City, this clown Mandani, okay, who isn't even an American, who's barely an American citizen, okay, who's a Ugandan Indian. Like, are we being serious right now? I don't know how he was able to even get elected. I don't think that anybody that's lower than third generation should be able to be elected for any public office. I don't care if it's dog catcher in the United States of America. Nobody, none of them, because you can't trust them. And this guy is clearly a snake oil salesman. But can we have a real conversation about that? Promising fanciful things that will never materialize. And who fell in line behind him? Kathy. Governor Kathy. Who fell in line behind him? AOC. Okay, Hakeem Jeffries. What's you call him face? What's his name? Bernie Sanders. All of these clowns. Because they're trying to ride his wave to boost up their own popularity so that they can feel like that they are important and that they can stay in the in crowd. Because it's about power. It's not about the people. Y'all know that AOC shut down the Amazon facility that was going to be put in her district in Queens? That would have been more jobs where they desperately are needed. Like, can we have these conversations? These people call themselves socialists and say that they care about people so much, but they put in policies and they push things that are actually destroying the communities and places that they live. They don't care because they're all wealthy. They all got their own money. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about themselves. They care about how things look so that they can stay in power. It's all about power. That's all that they care about. Hit the like button, hit the heart button, hit the share, and drop a comment. Okay, even if it's just say hi, I support you, or hand wave or a flag. So this is an important conversation. Now I want to talk about this whole Mandani situation. I want to go on to something else. So Robert, I see you. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, I want to talk about this Mandani situation real quick and him not really being very American. There's a very serious issue that we have right now with people talking about Israel and dual allegiance to Israel, right? Like, that's a big conversation, okay? And that's a problem, right? Because you can only have allegiance to one country. I don't care, full stop. There should be no dual citizenship to the United States of America. If you love that other country so much, get gone. Period, full stop. You have no business in this country. You want a dual citizenship? Go live in the other country. Because you can only have allegiance to one country. And that's a problem. But they continue to push this concept. Oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. And it's definitely not okay for you to be in the government and have dual allegiance. To have multiple passports to multiple countries. That's what we're not doing. You understand what I'm saying? And then we wonder why the country actually isn't working for the American citizens. That's why it's not working for the American citizens. We got all these people that feel like they got an escape route. They can go somewhere else. So they don't care if America falls. They go to Israel, or they go to, with Mandani, they can go to Uganda. Or where's his other passport to? Somewhere else. He got another passport too. I forget where the other one goes to. But this is the danger of dual allegiance, because they have no allegiance. That's like Benedict Arnold, yeah? Y'all dig? But can we have that conversation? We have these people that are in our country right now that are acting as what do you call it, the fourth estate or a fifth column to tear us down from the inside by pushing all this ridiculous propaganda and anti-American nonsense. And I'm not going to stand for it, and you shouldn't either. Because we deserve elected officials that care about America, that only care about Americans. I don't want a dollar or a dime of my money to go nowhere to no other foreign country. I don't care if the whole country is falling into the middle of the ocean. May it drown, and may God rest their souls. Because we got people dying here. Do you know how much food insecurity we have in the United States of America? You ever seen those Feed America commercials? 1 in 3 children go to bed hungry. And we sending money to foreign countries. Are you serious? 1 in 3 American children go to bed hungry, and we got money to send to foreign countries? Stop playing in my face. We don't got not a dollar, not a dime to send to no foreign country if we got 1 in 3 American children starving. Stop it. You see how many homeless we got in America? how many homeless vets we got in America? And you telling me we out there building houses in some desert country? Stop it. Stop playing with my emotions. Stop playing with my tax money. But this is the problem. They prioritize everything but us. Everything but us. And this is why we can't have these foreigners coming over here talking about, oh, well, we got citizenship now, and letting them get into public office because they don't have any allegiance to this country. You need to be at least third generation American to be in public office. The rest of that stuff is nonsense. And I'll be very frank with you guys. I like Winsome Sears. I know she's first generation, not even really. She's just naturalized because she was born in Jamaica. And she's Jamaican. And I like her a lot. I wanted her to win. But the fact of the matter is that none of them should be able to run for office at all. It's very serious. And then we wonder why our country supports all these other countries in the world with no benefit, no real foreseeable benefit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what's in it for us as American citizens? And the truth and the fact of the matter is absolutely nothing, except the inflation that surrounds our dollar, because now we're sending money out to foreign countries. What are we going to do about that? Nothing. Now, speaking about that, now the president, Trump, is out there talking about, oh, well, we should look into doing 50-year mortgages. Are you dumb? Like, who's stupid? And somebody might feel some type of way about that. I don't care if you feel some type of way about that. This is just more of that you will own nothing and be happy nonsense. And if you go with that, you'll own nothing and be happy nonsense, you are the problem. Because they don't want you to own anything. They don't want you to be happy. They don't want you to be able to have control over your life. They don't want you to be able to have the ability to actually achieve independence from the government. They want you to be completely dependent on the government forever. A 50-year mortgage? Do you know that the average life expectancy is 78 in the U.S.? Like, what do you mean a 50-year mortgage? The median first-time home buyer right now is 40 years old. 40 plus 50 is 90. They expect you to be dead before you pay it off. Are we being serious? Somebody told me earlier, oh, well, it'll make it more affordable for you to own, but you'll never own because you'll be dead by the time you pay it off. The bank will own it. And this is the problem. But can we have that serious conversation? And the answer is no, nobody wants to have these serious conversations because it sounds good on paper, right? But it's more of this whole, you will own nothing and be happy. It's a continued push of the nonsense, globalization, and empowerment of the elites. That's what it is, full stop. And nobody wants to really talk about it. And nobody wants to really say anything about it. And nobody wants to call a thing a thing. What do they say? It's call a spade, right? Here it is. They got a royal flush on us, and we can't even identify what's going on. Can we have that serious conversation? 50-year mortgage. Who's retarded? Come on now. Stop playing in my face. How about we focus on deflation so our dollar is worth more so we don't have to worry about scraping together pennies and change? You understand what I'm saying? Like, the dollar continues to depreciate because they tell us that inflation is good. We don't need no damn inflation, y'all. We need deflation. What's wrong with these people? Every time the inflation, the dollar value goes down, your dollar has less buying power. I want deflation. I want the dollar to be able to buy more. And they'll say, oh, well, that impacts trade and stuff. Like, I do not care about it impacting trade. I don't think we should be trading with all these countries to begin with. We have more than enough natural resources. We have more than enough know-how technically. We have more than enough land and ability to build stuff in this country that we do not have to be relying on any other country for anything. Stop letting these people play in your face. The fact is that they're not prioritizing you. They're not prioritizing a future where we don't have to worry about ridiculous supply chains from some other country that we might be at war at in another 30 seconds. Talking about you, China. You understand what I'm saying? Like, are we really being serious and having a serious conversation or what? But no, they don't want to have these serious conversations. And these things are important to talk about. It's so despicable, y'all. It really, really is. And if you guys don't know about 15-minute cities, I just was introducing somebody to that concept the other day. Apparently, a lot of people still don't understand what 15-minute cities are. They're open-air prisons. Please go look up 15-minute cities, okay? That's what they want. That's why they're destroying all these highways. That's why they're limiting lanes down and adding all these bike lanes and stuff like that. They're doing this because they want it so that you don't actually have the ability to resist anything that they're doing. It's all about control. Why do you think in New York State, with all the high food prices, Governor Kathy is like, oh, you guys can't have that many cows? What do you mean they can't have that many cows at a farm? What do you mean? Who are you to tell them how many cows they can have? You understand what I'm saying? So what happens when they have less cows? That automatically bumps up the price of our meat. Make it make sense. Have you seen the price of beef lately? Stop it. Stop playing in my face, Kathy. Like, ridiculous. And then they're like, oh, we care about the people. We're going to release some money so that we can give people free shit. Excuse my language. Well, why is that? Why is it needed? Why do they need government handouts? Why do they need government money? Well, they need government money. They need government handouts because the government has made it so nothing is affordable. The government did that. That didn't poof come out of nowhere. And people will say, oh, well, it's the billionaires. It's this, it's that. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Trump was on the debate stage with Hillary, right? And they were talking about the taxes. And she was like, well, you got benefited all of this from all of these tax loopholes and stuff. And he said, really? He said, if you don't like it, why don't you close the tax loopholes? She was in Senate. She never put a bill forth to do that. You know, she was the president's wife. She never pushed him to do that. Why? Because she benefits from the same thing. So don't let these people play in your face. Oh, it's the billionaires. It's the billionaires. Then change the tax code. Change it. Trump got on the TV and he was like, and you guys go look this up. I encourage you to go look this up because so many people don't know that it happened. Trump said he wants to tax the rich more. And he said he was more than willing to pay more himself. You know, none of the Democrats came out behind him and supported him on that. You know, none of the Republicans came out and supported him on that. Why? Why is that? Y'all want to do something about that or not? You know, like what they say, tax the rich. He said, okay, I'm going to tax the rich. And they said, no, you can't do that. What? I thought you wanted to tax the rich. What are we doing? Go look it up. Go look up. It was a whole press conference. Go look it up. Like, don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you. Go look it up. Like, this is ridiculous. This is what we're dealing with. These people play in our face every single day, telling us that they're for us when clearly they're not. When they have the opportunity to address the issues that they say that they care about, that are for us, that they never actually address. And somebody's got to make it make sense for me why people keep voting for these clowns. Like, I'll give you an explicit example in my city. We got a graduation rate that's abysmal. 67% or something like that. And that's a whole lie because we have a truancy rate of like 54%. Ain't no way that there's a 67% graduation rate. That's a 67% graduation rate of the people that actually come to school. You understand what I'm saying? What they do? Let the same people back in office again that don't do nothing about nothing. We got crime after the election. We had like 8 shootings and 10 stabbings since last Tuesday. What is going on? Did any one of them come out and say anything about crime? Did they propose one plan to do something to address the crime where we live? No. We got to stop letting these clowns get in office and then wonder why things continue to go south. It's time for us to unite together to stand up against this insanity that's being done by these so-called elected officials that are out here playing in our face to tell us that they care about us when really it's very clear through their policies. And that's very important, y'all, through the policies that they put in place. Forget what they're saying out their mouth. It's when they're in office, it's about their policies. If the policies aren't there, they're full of malarkey. I'll give you a great example. George Santos, right? They're like, oh, he lied about his history and his background and stuff like that. And he's terrible and whatever the case is, blah, 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 because he lied. Do you know that he had the most conservative voting record He had the most A+ conservative voting record. So he did everything that he said he would do when he got in office. But he was a liar because he lied on his resume. You know, because he lied about being Jewish when he was Jewish. You know, like, are we serious? But he might have lied, but he did the votes right. But can we talk about that? But all these other people out here, they lying out their side of their mouth all the time, promising us stuff that never materializes. We get nothing while they get rich. But they want to distract you with the billionaires. Oh, the billionaires are the problem. Why do we have billionaires? You allowed them to be made that way. And then they're like, we're going to tax the billionaires. But whenever they have the opportunity, they never do it. Make it make sense. These people don't even want voter ID. Hello? Like, you just let illegal aliens vote? Like, is that what we're doing now? Is that what our country has become? And you wonder why everything is all jacked up? Like, can we have a real serious conversation? I don't know. Hit the like button, hit the share button. It don't cost you nothing. And if you're following me on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. Now, this is so serious that I don't even know if I can adequately have a real conversation in this format with you about this. Because we continually get these people to play in our face. Like, I'll give you, for instance, right now in New York State, they're finally talking about, oh, we might do a little bit of nuclear. You know, Kathy found a way to pocket some money for the pipeline that they're doing in a new underwater gas pipeline. Now, the state assembly has been pushing back against that for the last couple of years. They just were out there celebrating and dancing and guffawing about shutting down another pipeline project when, get this, y'all, 54% of our energy in New York State comes from natural gas. That's right. Most of our electricity comes from natural gas. Hey, JG, I see it. So this is serious. And if 54% of our energy comes from natural gas, why are we shutting down natural gas power plants in New York State? Why are you shutting down natural gas pipelines in New York State? Why are you shutting down the ability for drilling and actually extraction? Can we have that conversation? No, they don't want you to have that conversation because they know if we have those conversations and if we start talking about it, we'll come to the idea and the concept, oh, well, these people are selling us a lie. They're doing us a disservice. And it's very clear if we take 2 seconds to talk about it with each other, that they're doing us a disservice over and over and over again. Thank you, JG. I see you dropping them comments there. Much appreciated. See, this is very, very important. We as the people need to have the important conversations together. We need to have them in church. We need to have them in the bars. We need to have them outside in the parks with our neighbors when we're going to walk our dog. We need to have these important conversations because otherwise we can't see the way that these people continue to purposefully disadvantage us and disenfranchise us while raising their own sales and becoming lifetime politicians, lifetime bureaucrats. These people don't care about us. That's why the policies never change for in the favor of the people. And this is why we have to get the right people in office. But to get the right people in office, it starts by having those hard conversations. If we don't have the hard conversations, nobody is going to. I encourage you, go to your next city council meeting and start asking some questions, or at least just go to listen to find out what's actually going on. Go to your county ledge meeting, find out what's going on. Go to your school board meeting, find out what's going on. And once you see the flim flam that's going on there, you're going to be like, absolutely not. Because the fact of the matter is that most of these people that are in a large majority of these offices have forgotten that their job is to represent us as our representatives. They no longer represent us. They represent their own self-interest. They represent the backdoor deals in the parties that they're trying to serve. You know, in my city in Rochester, for 60 years, it's been completely run by Democrats. Not one Republican on a seat, not one conservative on a seat, not even a Green Party person. You understand what I'm saying? 60 years. 60 years for the Democrats being in power. So seeing all of the crime that's out of control, the education system that's on fire, okay, the housing issues and everything else, that means that there were no policies put in place to address these very serious issues. And we need to address these issues. But why won't they address the issue? Well, it's because no matter who you elect, as long as you're voting for these Democrats, the Democrat Party for the county still owns the office. The name on the nameplate might change, but they still own the office. And that's why the same policies get pushed down from administration to administration to administration. That's why nothing ever really gets done, because they don't feel like they have to address the actual issues. Let's see. JG says Nick Fuentes or Candace Owens for next VP. That's a great question, bro. That's a great question. I don't know. Can Candace Owens run for VP? Is she still in the US? They're in Tennessee, right? I don't know. Her husband's British, so I'm not even sure anymore. But yeah, I'd say if it had to be between Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens, if that was my only choice, I probably wouldn't pick either of them. But if that's my only choice, I'm going to go with Candace. Yep, definitely. Because she's got a little bit more on the cap, and I believe that she would more thoroughly explore what needs to be done in the position of the office. I think that Nick would kind of just let it just be like there, and I don't think a lot would get done, unfortunately. I'd like to actually see some stuff get done. So, yeah. But, yeah, no. As we have these important conversations, you got to remember that the government is not constructed to actually address your issues. And that's why we as citizens have to demand that they address our issues. And really, I'm going to tell you this, and this is very important to remember. We don't need more laws. We have too many laws. That's why everything is jacked up now. We need more laws repealed. We need more oversight that comes from these ridiculous, what do you even call them, regulations? We need more regulations deregulated. We need them taken away, because this is important. If nobody actually says anything about any of this, then nothing is going to change. And it's very important that we understand and we acknowledge that it won't change unless it's us that stand up and do something. People are far too attached to party, and that's a very serious problem, because they're like, my team, my team, my team. Listen, I don't care if it's red. I don't care if it's blue. I don't care if it's the Democrat. I don't care if it's Republican. Okay? The government in and of itself is made specifically only to grow itself. Can I get an amen in the comments? Like, this is some serious stuff. That's why we see no matter whose party is in office at the federal level, very little really changes. But it comes down to accountability. And it has to be us as the citizens to hold the elected officials accountable. It can't just be on election day. You don't just go out and vote for them. Now that these people are in office, whether you voted for them or not, you need to be engaging with them. Do you know who your state senator is? Do you? If you know who your state senator is, drop a thumbs up in the comments. If you don't, drop a sad face. If you don't know who your state senator is, you're missing out, because these are some of the local people that we need to get to address the issues that we have. These are some of the serious things that are going on. Do you know your senator for your federal senator? I got two. I don't like neither of them. I got Gillibrand and I got Schumer. Lord forbid, man. Schumer's something else. Okay. People asking me all types of crazy questions today. Let's see about some of these crazy questions. Let's see. This isn't a crazy question. Somebody asked me what's my favorite Bible verse. I want to say it's Ecclesiastes. It's either Ecclesiastes 11 or 8. It's where and I'm paraphrasing. It's is that Ecclesiastes? It is. I think it's Ecclesiastes. Don't misquote me, because I know it's in there, but I don't always remember where it is. It's that if the wicked are not punished expediently, that their heart is solely set to do evil. So I'm pretty sure that that's that. Or I might be confusing that with another one, but that's a fact too. Look what's happening because we're not punishing evil. And that's a problem. Let's see. We got another question coming in. Let's see. AM Golf, I see you there. Let's see. AM Golf says, now this is a crazy question, AM. AM says, is it permissible for a black man to date a white woman, or should we stay with our black sisters? So that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you who to love. And it's really about this day and age, who treats you better, right? Who's going to treat you good? Because it's hard to find somebody as a man that there's a woman that's going to treat you right, treat you good, and be a true support to you. That's just hard to find. So I understand if you found that in somebody of another ethnicity. I really do. I have my preference, but you know, honestly, where I live, like there are hardly any conservative females at all. And then you have to ask about body count too, and then that really limits the list. You know what I'm saying? So when you start digging down, that eliminates a whole bunch of numbers, especially if they have to be Christian. And that's very important that they're Christian. You should not be unequally yoked. So that's that. Let's see. JG says, what's my position on abortion? What is that? Baby murder? Like, we don't do that around here. We don't play them types of games. There's a purposeful reason why they push abortion instead of pushing safe sex or pushing comprehensive adult relationships. There's a reason, right? Like if you were in a long-term consenting adult relationship before being sexually active, like it wouldn't be so big of an issue. And we wouldn't have my guy, Chuck Schumer, who is my senator, saying that, oh, you guys should all kill your babies, and then say, oh, well, we need illegal aliens in this country because we're not having enough babies. Excuse me? After you told our people to kill our babies, now you're like, oh, we need illegal aliens because we're not having enough babies. Make it make sense. Every life is precious, okay? But because the Democrats don't value every life as being precious, that's why we have so much crime and violence, because they don't care about life. And that's also why now in New York State and other states, they're pushing this so-called compassionate care. It's legitimately elder side to kill off our elders so that they can keep their pensions and keep their social security and keep their medical stuff because they don't want to pay it out. It's all a trap. Like they might say, oh, well, it's about women's rights. It's about women's bodies. It's not. I wish it was. I wish I could believe them. But people are so bamboozled by these people that are in office. These people that are in office do not care about you. Like, I mean, it's just very evident. It's very evident. If they cared about people that had abortions, there would be aftercare. Where's the aftercare for people who've had abortions? That's one of the most serious things that you will ever experience in any type of a procedure as a female. Why is there no aftercare? Make it make sense to me. You care about them so much. Show me that you care. Let's see. AM says, is it okay for a black man to date a black man? Don't ask me no stupid, crazy question like that. That is clearly against biblical principles, and it's counterfunctional to being a human being because you can't produce any offspring that way. Let's see. JG says, can I join your live? I'd love to chat. So this is really more of my show. We don't really do any type of guests or anything on this show, but I am bringing back my other podcast, which is the Elephant in the Room, and I do guests on there. So maybe you can be on one of those ones. So stay in touch and stay up on the streams and stuff like that. Okay. And shoot me a message. And we can see if we can get you on one of the other shows. So let's do that. Now, as we go forward with this, I want to address a couple of more things before we hop off of here for today, because we are all out of order and everything, because we are not local today. We are not in the office today, so we're mobile. So the Supreme Court almost re-went over some stuff with the whole gay marriage and stuff like that. And the Democrats are really the people behind the scenes that are pushing this. It's very, very important that we understand that we got the whole overturning of Roe versus Wade because of the Democrats. There was a bunch of leftists that took that nonsense to the federal government, and it should have stayed on the state level. They messed that up. Then now with this whole push for the gay marriage thing, it's going to come back. It's going to come back to the Supreme Court because it has to. Because you can't tell somebody to do something that violates their religion. Okay, it's very important that we understand that. That's actually in the Constitution. And when it does actually get back to the court, it will get undone, and it's because they try to take these positions. And the court case itself isn't actually about gay marriage. And that's another crazy thing. But they try to label it like it is. It's about you not having to officiate a gay marriage or recognize it if it's against your religious convictions. So these are things that are important parts of the conversation that are often left out. And many people get very emotional over these topics. And because they're so emotional, we can't have a good, clean conversation about it. Let's see. AM says, what's AM say? AM says, I like listening to your takes. I appreciate you, AM. How often do I do lives? So I do lives once every Monday. I do lives from 2:30 to 4 p.m. We're a little off schedule today. And then every now and then I do some other ones during the week. But soon I'll get my other podcast started back up. And then we'll be doing them more often. And I'll keep you posted on that. You'll see them on my YouTube. So make sure you guys, if you're watching me on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay. And hit the alert button. Hit the little bing, hit the bell so that it alerts you with all notifications. Now, a couple of other things I want to get into before we get out of here is now we have the government shutdown. Looks like there's enough Democrats to push it over the line so that we don't have to have a government shutdown anymore. That'd be nice. I'm very hopeful. But the fact of the matter is as we go back to the beginning of the conversation we had here, we need an actual complete budget. We haven't had one for over 10 years. So let's make sure that gets done. I'm not in favor of continuing resolutions. We need an actual budget. So let's get that done. But we, the citizens, have to demand that. Otherwise, they'll keep kicking the can down the line more and more and more. Now, I want to talk about energy real quick because this is very important. AM says we need to hang out. Yeah, man. So this is important. What we see right now with energy is the push of the resurgence of nuclear energy in the United States. And that is a fantastic thing. We never should have let that go. We were the number one advanced nation with nuclear energy. And now we're lagging behind. But we're quickly going up, and we're going up and up and up. And soon, just soon maybe, we'll finally be at the forefront again. Now, while I'm saying that, we got China that is claiming that they're completely energy independent. And this is these Indian people, these Indian publications are co-signing that. So I don't know how true it is. China lies about everything all the time. But if they're saying that they're not yet, they will be soon. I truly believe that. And China is our biggest enemy that we have, period, point blank, full stop. Don't let nobody tell you nothing otherwise. We got two big enemies right now, China and AI. That's it. Everything else, not important. Not important. So we really need to look at how we can build out our energy infrastructure here in the U.S. at a very expedited capacity, very fast, And I'm glad that the president is pushing towards investment in nuclear energy. And now we have a real chance. JG says, why is AI bad? It's not so much that AI is bad. It's that people are bad. You understand what I'm saying? So it's how will the people use the AI, right? So we already have Palantir collecting massive amounts of data to do predictive analysis on your behavior, yours, okay? Your behavior, my behavior, everybody's behavior. I don't like that. I don't think they should be involved in government. I don't think the government should do that. I don't even want to do a facial recognition scan at TSA. I'm just not trying to do none of that. And this type of stuff is very important for us to understand that if we give the government more and more power to take advantage of our citizens, to expand their surveillance capacity, they will. And that's what's happening with this AI. It's allowing them the ability to be able to analyze more and more of our behavior, more and more of our daily things, more and more of the things that we like. and everything like that, so that they can know how to maneuver us and manipulate us and do predictive analysis to see if we might push against the government. You know, I'm sure if you guys think that you're on lists now, you ain't on as many lists as you about to be. So this is also an important conversation. Let me see. What did you say? JG, this is kind of a free-for-all today, you guys. Not really our normal conversation. We got a lot of questions coming in about different things. So I'm trying to address some of them as they come in. Let's see. JG says, what would be the final solution to the Israel-Palestine issue? Restore the kingdom of Jerusalem. Full stop. Okay, don't get me started. Northern Africa, the whole Levant, return it to Christianity. Full stop. Okay, that's where I stand on that. Otherwise, don't involve me in the conversation. I don't care nothing about nothing. Okay, restore it to Christianity. That is it. Let's see. So as we move forward with this, I think that's a good lead into this important issue, which is the continued attack on Christianity in the United States of America. That they try to act like it's not going on. They try to act like it's not happening. But look at all the schools that have been shot up in the last year. In the last 6 months, we have barely gone 1 month without a shooting at a Christian facility or institute. Can we have that conversation? Are Christians not under attack in this country? They won't let you talk about that, but they make movies and TV shows every day blaspheming Christians. Why don't you go blaspheme the Jews or go blaspheme the Muslims? Blaspheme somebody else and see what happens. The Muslims ain't going to go for that. The Jews ain't going to go for that, but we supposed to go for that as Christians? Don't play in my face. They used to burn people for heresy, and I'm starting to wonder if that was a mistake that they stopped. Because clearly people think that they can just talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ any way that they feel like, and talk about the Lord our Father any way that they feel like, and play in our face and try to act like we're not nothing. And I'm not with it. I don't like it at all. And we look at all the other countries across the world, China, okay, Nigeria, the Congo, where Christians are under constant attack. What do we do? What do we do? You know, it's a serious issue. We need to start standing up for Christianity, and it needs to start happening in the United States of America. I know I've got some friends that go on missions and stuff like that, but I wish that we had a mission to America. Can we have a mission to America? We need that here, you know? Like they're going over across seas to preach the gospel over there. We need that here in the United States. 310 million people, and we don't have enough Christians. People falling away from the church. People who don't believe in God anymore. Like we need them. We need it here. We need it here in the United States. If anywhere, we can't save everybody else if our house ain't right. You know what I'm saying? America is burning down because we refuse to repent and turn back to Christ and pray for forgiveness. If we as a nation repented and turned back to the Lord our Father, we wouldn't be having the type of problems that we have now. All of this nonsense with all types of crazy ideology and things like that, we wouldn't be having those issues. All of this nonsense with the poverty and the issues with the medical and stuff like that, we wouldn't be having those issues. You know, the real problem started to arise when the Catholic Church stopped doing all of the schools, stopped doing all of the medical stuff, and the other churches also stopped doing those type of things, and it became more and more in the power in the hand of the government. But can we talk about that? No, I don't think that most people want to have that conversation. Christians are under attack in this nation, and they've continued to try to exclude us from everything possible, and we must stand and push back against them. Okay? Because that's nothing but Satan. That's nothing but evil. That's the devil. That's the true enemy. All of these ailments and issues in our society, they all stem from the devil, okay? From the evil, right? Now, for me, I'm going to drop something on y'all for a second here. Y'all take it as you want. I believe that there is Satan, Lucifer, and then there is evil, the devil, right? And I believe that it's a misappropriation of the word devil. I believe that it's supposed to be D' evil. Like you used to see a lot of times they'd write D and then the apostrophe in Old English. I think it's a mistake. I believe that the devil is actually the evil, and that evil is the means that the demons and Satan use against the people. And that is a much more serious concept than people can comprehend, because they're like, oh, well, the devil made me do it, or, oh, well, it's the devil. It's not the devil. The devil can't be all places at all time. He's not omniscient. He's not omnipotent. He's not omnipresent. So he needs a network of individuals that are willing to do all types of crazy and heinous acts and behave badly. And he uses them through his demons and through their own personal self-interest. You know? Like, this is very important to understand. Why do we see all of these negative and evil things in the world? Because of the evil. And we must stand against it. And as Christians, we are called to stand against it. And if you're not a Christian, I pray that you look into Jesus and that God reveals himself to you. I pray for you. That's my prayer for you. But we as Christians, we need to stand. And we need to do it now, today, not tomorrow. Drop a like, drop a share, get this out there. And if you're on my YouTube, hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell, so you get all of the updates on my latest lives and videos. I'll catch you guys later. Remember, go out and get active locally so that you can start to make a difference. Go to a city council meeting, go to a town board meeting, go to a school board meeting, go to a fire district, go to something. Start to get involved. Start to see what's going on, because all politics is local. And if you can start to get a grasp on what's going on locally, you can start to see where you can actually have the ability to make a real difference. Hey, Olivine, I see you there. Olivine, we're getting ready to end the show for today. I'm going to catch you soon. Jay, I don't get back till later. Olivine, I'll see you later, okay? You guys, remember, be blessed and be well. Go back and watch the whole show. Rewind it. It's pretty good. I'll catch you guys later. And thank you, JG, also. I appreciate you guys. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. Be blessed and be well.